2023 is quickly coming to an end, so it is that time of year again. My in the bag. I'm Aaron Jameson, and this is Chain Raider Disc Golf. So as I have stated in my past videos, this bag is subject to change depending on the course and most of all depending on the weather. All right, first up, my putting putters. Now I like putting with baseline plastics with the Innova, the Aviar. I like DX plastic in the summertime. I just feel it gives me a nice clean release. But as it gets colder, DX plastic gets pretty hard. So I switched over to the XT plastic. This one's nicely seasoned. This is my, say, Circle 2 putter. It stays very straight, with minimal fade. It's gonna fade, but not as much as this one. This is my newest one. And this is definitely a little bit more overstable than this one. So this is my Circle 1 putter. All right, now on to my throwing putters, which probably one of the favorite slots in my bag. So up first, for my approach shots, something that I want to hit and stick is my Kastaplast K1 Soft Berg. Some people love this disc, some people hate this disc. I happen to love this disc. One thing about this that I do like is that thumb track it has. It just rolls off the thumb really nicely if you gotta use a forehand or a flick for a shot on your approach. Kastaplast Berg. Next up is my Eagle's Wings stamped Aviar X3. I've had this for, what, 3 years now? 2 years now? It's never left my bag. Love this disc. Next up is the disc everybody should have, my Axiom Envy in the glow plastic. And I got a theme going this year. All the rims, all my throwing putters are all blue. Except for the Berg. But the Envy, I love this disc. This thing goes. It's very controllable. This thing will actually pull a little bit to the right and always get that reliable fade, even in the headwind. I like the Envy because it's a shallower putter. I like my putting putters deeper, and my throwing putter is a little bit shallower. Now the Aviar X3 is your normal size putter. It's deeper, but for more controlled, really controlled shots, and I'm really hammering on this disc and I'm trying to get as much out of it as I can, I'm going with the Envy. Love this disc. Now, if you saw my 2022 in the bag, you would have seen that my throwing putters went through a pretty big change. Well, they did once again. I went back to the Warden, Dynamic Discs Warden. This has the Airwolf Athletic stamp on it. My other ones were getting a little too beat in and they were starting to really turn on me. So you got to put it on a little bit of hyzer just to keep it going straight. And that's why I bagged this disc. This is new. It goes very straight with some fade, but I got this disc for nice, tight, straight shots. The Dynamic Discs Warden. So last year, I actually had put 2 proxies in my bag, a glow proxy, which was more stable, and an electron proxy, which was the understable disc that I could make go right. And those 2 discs replaced my Warden. Well, I needed to make room in the bag, so I went back with the Warden. Just wasn't seeing eye to eye with the proxy. It's in my glow bag though. Next up in the understable category is the newest disc in my bag. And this is the Westside Discs Swan Reborn. This disc is very unstable. Now, why I like this better than the Proxy. The Proxy has that overmold technology. It has that gyro thing going on, right? All the weights on the outside. So in order for me to get that Proxy to turn nicely, you gotta hit it with a little bit of arm speed. Put a little bit more behind it. I don't wanna have to do that all the time. I want a disc I can throw gently if I need to and know what's going to go to the right. I grabbed the hold of this thing, threw it a few times, fell in love with it. Yes, it's very understable. If I need it to stay straight for a little bit longer, it's going on hyzer. I don't like to manipulate my discs too much like that. I get discs for them to do what they do, but I do it if I have to. So the Westside discs, Underworld, the Westside discs, Swan, Reborn. So this is a little bit more understable than the original Swan. All right, now for a disc that's in that limbo kind of category. It's not a putter, it's not a mid-range, it's what they call an approach disc. And here it is, my Discraft Zone. I call him the Barbarian. If you have a Zone, you know these are great discs. Great for headwinds. It doesn't even phase this disc. This is very overstable. If you got to get around something, I mean, you always know this is going to finish. It's going to get that fade. No matter if I put it on some crazy anhyzer, it will flex back and it will do its thing. The Zone, great disc. All right, now it's time to check out my mid-ranges. Probably my second favorite category or slot in a bag. First up is my Axiom Pyro. This thing is beefy. It goes out and it really wants to get left. It really wants to just get left and get down. I gave it a name because the thing is just a brute. And thank you, Kevin, for this dip die. This is Brutus. Good old Brutus. Check the video on here. It's the thumbnail says it smells so bad. I went into the grossest water. I couldn't see my feet. You couldn't see more than 5 inches, 3 inches in the water. Snapping turtles, I mean, you name it. I went in after this guy. It smelled so bad. Looking for about 20 minutes or so, and I finally found him. So I realized we had to give this guy a cool identity, and there he is, Brutus. I got this disc heavy at 178 grams. I don't want this disc at all to give me any left to right play. I want this thing to go out, stay dead straight, and finish for me. So I started messing with the weights this year, a little bit more than usual. 178 grams, Brutus. Next up is my Dynamic Discs EMac Truth. This one's in 175 grams. Love this thing. It was a toss-up between this and an Innova Rock 3. I went with this. I just think it feels better in hand. I like that rim so much better. I call this my trusty truth because it really is. All right, next up is a disc I got to just go super freaking straight. Super, super straight. And I got this one heavy as well because I don't want it to really get that much left to right play. I wanted something I could just hammer on, keep it going straight for as far as it wants to go before you get that fade. And that is the Axiom Hex. Now, what makes this one different than your average, I don't want to put a curse on my bag. JP, that's looking at you, buddy. I removed the H. It's now an X. It's now an X. Yes, a hex is a curse. There are demons in my bag. I got this at 177 grams. I wanted it heavy. So like I stated, I can hit this thing hard and know it's not going to start pulling like this. I'm sure it eventually will. But for now, I wanted something that would just stay nice and straight and get that reliable fade. And this is a great disc, the Axiom X. And by the way, bad color for this time of year with all the leaves. It just blends in. I need to get a brighter one, kind of like Brutus, something bright yellow. All right. So next up, when I've been bagging, I don't flick too often. So a lot of the discs in my bag are overstable, stable, or I should say neutral, and understable. This is my Dynamic Discs Bounty. This thing has seen a lot of action. This disc is very versatile. I can keep it going straight, get that finish, get that fade. But what I throw this for is that late turn to the right. I can send this thing out there, hit it with enough spin or back some spin down depending on what I want to do. And this disc will get out there for me. And then at the end of the flight, it'll start going to the right for me. If I need to turn sooner, I just hit it a little bit harder, maybe put a little ante on it, and it'll do its thing. Dynamic Discs Bounty, great disc. Next mid-range in the understable category is my MVP Uplink. Now, I was throwing an orange one. Like I stated, it's the wrong time of the year because all the leaves that are on the ground. So I always get backups. I pulled out this backup, the bright yellow Uplink. This thing, with a proper hyzer flip, can stay straight for quite a while. But I got this just to send it out flat and have it turn for me. You can keep it straight and have it fade, but that's not why I got this. This will turn sooner than my Bounty will. This will turn a lot quicker than the Bounty will. Back the power down, you know, it's got the whole overmold gyro technology. You can keep this very straight. You can actually get it to finish. But this is my go to the right mid-range. That's it for the mids. Okay, now one of my fairway drivers is, and this is actually a slot in my bag that I'm going to be revisiting very shortly. So, here we go. This is the one that's going to be possibly coming out. This is the Gold Line Latitude 64 Explorer. I don't know what's going on with me in this. I have another one that's orange. I took it out because of the season, and it is now, and I put this yellow one in. Even the orange one. Doing some weird releases with it. I love the disc. It has a great flight. I mean, it goes nice and straight. You get a little bit of left to right, and then it always finishes. We'll see. I've been eyeballing a few other 7 speeds, and we'll see what happens. So anyway, Latitude 64 Explorer. Next up in the 7-speed category, understable, of course. Westside discs, Underworld. Love this thing. This disc is very understable. This thing, brand new, it will go pretty straight for you. as you increase your arm speed, this thing just wants to go like this. And the more seasoned they get, the more quicker they want to go like this and get right for me. As I stated, I don't flick too often, so off the LP, the launch pad, if I got to get out and get something right, I will be, and it's farther than a bounty throw, or, you know, I should say a mid-range throw, I will be reaching for this. Westside, Underworld. I have a new one that I'll be getting very soon that Kevin did the dip dye on, just like Brutus. It's yellow. Here's the picture. Check that out. Kevin did an awesome job on it, and I cannot wait to put it in the bag. And that also is an Underworld. So yes, very understable and controllable. I mean, you can keep this straight if you need it and get the fade, but that's not why I bag it. And last but not least, in the fairway category or control driver category, is my Daredevil Wolverine. Love this disc. I very rarely have a bad release with this thing. It's just the wing on this thing, the plastic, I don't know what it is, but this disc, it's amazing. I love this thing. It will go out, you will get a nice pull. Now you can manipulate it. If I need it to go pretty hard right, I just put more on it, maybe put a slight bit of anhyzer on it. But this is one that will go, if I time it right, send it, like if I want to throw it at this camera, I time it right, it will turn like this, and then you'll get a nice fade. This pulls pretty hard to the right. This is great for distance. This is a 9-speed, and I love this disc. They did something right with this. And I know there's not too many people out there to throw Daredevil. It's a Canadian brand, no big deal. I don't know what it is with Daredevil, but the only people that I know who throw this are the people that I turned on to it. And Randy from Rand Disc Golf, he's the one that turned me on to this disc. And it has not left my bag yet, and I think it's been 3 years this has been in my bag. Anyway, Wolverine, get it. Get one of these. They're awesome. All right, let's take a look at my distance drivers. And new for this year, I needed something that could fight the wind. And thank you, Kevin, for this amazing dye job. And thank you, Nate Martin, for the logo. But here we have my Star Wraith. And this thing is very overstable. The wind doesn't phase this disc. It just goes like this and gets left. But check this out. Love, love, love that logo. Thank you, Nate Martin. And thank you, Kevin. So, overstable Wraith. And I've come to like the Wraith, thanks to this one. This is the Pro Plastic Wraith. This one will turn in a headwind. This one will actually give me more distance than the Star because it'll go out, it will turn like this, straighten back out, and then keep going, and then you'll get that fade. So if I need something to really just go far and stay freaking straight, maybe a little bit of play, I'm reaching for this Wraith, Pro Plastic. All right, next up, this is new to the bag this year. This is a Champion Innova Champion Plastic Tern. This disc goes farther than the Wraith, a lot farther than the Wraith, and it goes very straight. This is a great disc. I love this disc. In a headwind, because this is still kind of newish, it didn't really want to turn it over, even for it being a -2 and a 2 fade. It really didn't want to mess with it too much. This thing just stayed straight. So that is the Champion Plastic Tern. Then I have my Pro Plastic Tern. I love Pro Plastic. This disc, it goes pretty freaking far. My buddy Chris, who's been playing for longer than me, he calls this his bomber disc. This one here, I can send it out and this will stay pretty straight. I can get it to fade if I need it, but why I bag this one, now it's nice and beaten in, it's nice and seasoned. This thing will get way out there and it will turn to the right for me. At the end of its flight, this thing just wants to start going like this. Love this disc. I love the Pro Plastic. This thing is great. And last but not least, I was bagging a Star Destroyer since I started playing. Because everyone gets a Destroyer, don't they? And I recently took it out of the bag. And I put this in it. The Dynamic Discs Raider. Yes, 14 speed. I got this in a tournament last year, but I put one in my hand and I absolutely love the way the Raider feels. That wing, I mean, this disc feels good. So I was already bagging 2 Wraiths, 2 Terns, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna need something that fights the wind. This does fight the wind. And I just love the way that the wing on this feels. So I pulled out my DD3. Remember I stated in the beginning, my bag is subject to change. My DD3 is a big time wind fighter. That thing just wants to get left. So if it's a real windy day, I'll put the DD3 in the bag. I might even put my Star Destroyer back in the bag. But this one recently went in my bag. I just love the way that this disc feels in hand. It feels so good. So that is the Dynamic Discs Raider. Well, that does it for my 2023 in the bag video, and it's gotten pretty dark pretty quick. I was wanting to do more throws with the distance driver, especially that Raider, because I put it out on some hyzer, because I'm doing this thing differently in my reach backs, and my form's changing, and I've been releasing on hyzer, I don't know why. Anyway, besides all that, if you enjoy in the bag videos, make sure you scroll on down, check out Jason's in the bag, and also Kevin's in the bag. Hopefully we can get Mike on here sooner or later. We are in December, so I will bid you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to come after that. I am Aaron Jameson, and this is Chain Raider Disc Golf.